Hi everybody and welcome back to Meals of the Week. Today's Monday and we're going to be having baked potatoes for our tea tonight. So what I'm going to do with these is just poke some holes into them and then I'm going to pop them into the microwave for 10 minutes. Once the potatoes are finished in the microwave, I've then gone and lined a baking tray with some tin foil. I'm going to drizzle them with some oil and a sprinkle of salt and pop them into the oven at a high heat and let them crisp up. On our baked potatoes, we are just going to be having butter and cheese. Usually Ayla likes to have beans with hers, but she said she didn't fancy any tonight, so she's just going to have the same as me. A really nice and simple meal to have and very filling, and this is what we had for our tea tonight. On Tuesday, we had chicken korma with pilau rice. We're going to have this korma sauce that comes with a little spice mix on top that you add in to your chicken whilst it is cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of oil into the pan and then I'm going to get on with chopping up my chicken into chunks. Once all my chicken is cut up, I'm then going to add on the spice mix. I'm not going to use the whole thing, just in case it's a little bit spicy for Ayla, and then I'm going to give it a really good mix before I get on with cooking it. Once the chicken is cooked through, I'm then just going to add in the korma sauce. I'm going to add a little bit of milk to the jar, give it a shake and pour the remainder in. That way we're not wasting any. Once all the sauce is thoroughly mixed in, I'm going to pop a lid on this and let it simmer whilst I get on with the rice and naan breads. So for the naan bread, I've already wet both sides, just a little sprinkle of water, and this is going to go in the oven for about 4 minutes. And then for the rice, I'm just going to poke some holes in, pop it into the microwave and let this cook for 2 minutes. And now it is time to start dishing everything up. And this is it once everything has been plated up. This plate is Ayla's and the other one is mine. And this is what we had for our tea tonight. On Wednesday we had mince and dumplings. The weather outside was quite miserable and cold, so I thought this would be perfect for that kind of day. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my mince into a pan. And then I'm going to sprinkle over half of the seasoning mix that I had, this beef casserole one, and then I'm going to get on with cooking it. Once my mince was all cooked, I used the other half of the seasoning mix and mixed it with a little bit of water, and then I'm going to just add this into the mince and give that a really good stir. I'm then just moving on to cutting up the carrots. I'm just going to cut them into little circles like this and then cut each one into 4. Then I'm just going to add all of the carrots back in, and the next thing I'm going to pour in here is a mixture, so we have a little bit of gravy and some beef stock cubes going in here. Once that's all stirred in, I'm going to put a lid on this and I'm going to let it simmer for a few minutes whilst I get on with the dumplings. For the dumplings, I'm just going to follow the instructions on the back of the box, which is to add a little bit of water and give it a really good mix. It should end up like a doughy type consistency. I'm then going to pour the mince mixture into an oven-proof dish and then just pop 4 dumplings in, 1 in each corner. This is then going to go into the oven for about 25 minutes to let those dumplings bake. And this is how it all looks when everything is finished. We have a dumpling each, some mash, and then obviously the mince with the carrots in. And this is what we had for our tea tonight. On Thursday we had sausage and mash. So for the sausages, I'm going to put these into the air fryer, so I'm just checking the back to make sure that I'm able to do this. And then for the mash, this is just going to go into the microwave to cook. I've put the sausages into the air fryer and these are going to cook at 180 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Once the sausages are nearly done cooking, I'm just going to poke some holes into the mash and this is going to go in the microwave for 5 minutes. And this is how it looks once everything is plated up. I would usually do some sort of vegetable to go with this, and it would normally be carrot. I've ran out, so we're just having sausage and mash on its own, but we do have extra sausages if we would like them. I'm just going to pour over the gravy, and this is what we had for our tea tonight. For tea tonight, we're just going to be having pasta. We're going to have 2 different types. Ayla's going to have tuna pasta with this tomato and mascarpone sauce. And then I'm just going to have mine with some butter and cheese. I just thought I'd make something that we already had in the cupboards. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've already boiled the kettle, so I'm just going to pour boiling water over the pasta and then I'm going to let this cook. I've also added a sprinkle of salt in here too. Now that the pasta has finished cooking, I have separated my portion out and left Ayla's in the pan. So to hers, I've added the tuna and then I'm going to add in this tomato and mascarpone sauce. And then I'm going to heat this through. This is how it looks once everything is plated up. The one with cheese on is mine and the red sauce is Ayla's. I've also added a little sprinkle of cheese to hers that she can stir through. And this is what we had for our tea tonight. I hope you enjoyed this week's Meals of the Week. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.